did for me. So Portugal is also my second country.
Ala hopes to obtain a master's degree in architecture by next year. In the meantime, she's becoming more fluent in Portuguese, and her new classmates try to help her forget the crisis in Syria just for a fleeting moment. This report was produced by Zara Makawi for the United Nations.
Oranienmoent is a largely undiscovered destination in Namibia. To find out what makes this town one of a kind, what better place to start than with an organization called OMD 2030, which represents the face of tourism in Oranienmoent. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, Cher.
Thank you very much for having us.
You're welcome to Oranienmoent, guys.
Thank you. OMD 2030 is considered to be the face of tourism in Oranienmoent, represented by a beautiful face such as your own. Tell us, do you consider yourself to be an Oranienmoender?
Thanks for the question, Cher. Of course, and not just because I'm a long resident of the town or because I qualify to be one, because I feel like one. I know for sure that this is a community that I belong to and I feel local.
Absolutely. What makes Oranienmoent unique and different from other towns in Namibia?
Oh, our history. I mean, we're the only town that has been in isolation and closed off from the rest of the world for so many years. And I mean, it's the only town where it's normal to find a Hemsbok in your backyard in the morning. And the fact that we are also having a lot of biodiversity hotspots, and we the only town where animals and people live together in harmony. And I mean, it's just beautiful.
In this transformation process for Oranienmoent, why do you think tourism can be a real game changer for the people of Oranienmoent and the town itself?
Yeah, because first of all, I feel like tourism have already shown a lot of potential. After town opening in 2017, we have received over 380 tourists from 11 different countries,
wow,
which shows a lot of curiosity and people want to know about Oranienmoent. And with the talks of opening up the national park and future mining tours, I have no doubt that Oranienmoent will blossom through that. And I know that a lot of job creation will be created for locals and there will be a lot of investment. That's how economy will be diverse. So I feel tourism will really change the game.
OMD 2030 is often considered to be the face of tourism in the town of Oranienmoent. What does that mean?
OMD 2030 runs the Oranienmoent Tourist Information Center, and OMD 2030 is responsible for making sure that there are tours, there are town tours, training and development on tourism etiquette for locals, and we are also responsible for making sure that new developments are well marketed through our social media and other platforms like events like Namibian Tourism Expo, and it's also responsible for making sure that Oranienmoent becomes a sustainable tourist destination in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Debbie, describe to us the Oranienmoent 2030 vision that you see.
I see a economically diverse and thriving town with endless possibility for everyone. I see a community where members take pride in building their own community and taking pride in community participation and engagement. I see a place for everyone to belong, and I see Oranienmoent being a central point holiday destination for all Namibians.
Wow, I can't wait to see that with
It's coming, it's coming.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
Thanks for having me, Cher.
Absolutely. And that was Debbie Verting, providing insight into this growing, developing, flowering tourism destination. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite Learning In with One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite Learning In.
After a hard year, we've got the Christmas you deserve with incredible savings. Like Sunlight dishwashing liquid refill for only $20.99 and 1 litre Spa 100% fruit juice for just $15.99. Plus, every day, we're giving Lucky Spa Rewards customers their shopping for free. Merry Christmas from all of us at Spa.
Fresh FM, young hearts, fresh beats.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, was a closed town governed by a subsidiary of De Beers called Consolidated Diamond Mines, or CDM, now known as NAMDEB, and provided the residents, mostly employees of the mine, with all the services they required, ranging from infrastructure development to providing essential services. In the 1990s, however, NAMDEB, which outsourced many of the town's services, started scaling back their role in the town, and now Oranjemund's, or OMDis' journey to 2030 has begun. Welcome. My name is Erica Gebhardt, and to detail the town's transformational journey into the future, we're joined by Danny Meyer, the co-founding shareholder, director, and first CEO of SMEs Compete, and an entrepreneur with a business background in Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and South Africa, with a passion for enterprise and entrepreneurial development, with a vision to help Africa achieve its full potential as a continent. Thank you for joining us. So to start off our discussion, how are you involved in Oranjemund's transformation?
Well, SME Compete has been engaged to help ignite or reignite that spark of entrepreneurship with those in the town who harbor entrepreneurial ambition, and to help those who are already in business grow their business to become the wind under their wings. And that might be to get them out of that mindset that you're operating in a closed environment, to actually see the bigger picture, the domestic economy, and indeed what else can be done in that part of Namibia.
So what does SME development involve, and why is it an important economic driver?
Well, to take the local economy of Oranjemund beyond mining. Mining is finite, so it's coming to an end. And the town should not end up like many other towns that have been developed around mining. When mining ceases, slowly deteriorates and becomes a ghost town. So to ensure that that doesn't happen, one has to look at what already is in place in terms of business and service delivery, goods and service delivery, and make sure that you can expand that. And of course, it also has to be linked with enticing further investment into the town, so that there's a gradual transformation from that reliance on land-based mining or even offshore mining. So what does it entail? Well, you have to start at grassroots, actually. You have to start with the basics. Do people who've operated a business in a closed environment actually understand the importance of customer service, honing their business skills, the importance of compliance, because they now are not going to be part of a little enclave, but part of the greater requirement of the country. They also need to be helped to actually understand the importance of growing their business, putting in place structures where you develop your staff, your employees. And more importantly, they need to be encouraged to look beyond that domestic market. Can they do business in that region, geographical region. There are other towns such as Rosh Pina, which is close by, and further afield, of course, Aus, Luderitz, Keetmanshoop and so on, the region, and indeed across the border, because that's what we're promoting. Namibia should not continue to be inward looking, only look at how we can service the local needs, should also look at what can be done in external markets. And there, Oranjemund really has a favorable position. It's right there on the border of the biggest market in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, absolutely.
That huge economy. And it's so strategically closely located to that the metro, Cape Town metro, and the population there. So businesses in Oranjemund actually are in a very, very favorable position in that sense. So in summary, skills, you've got to get skills honed, got to make sure that structures are in place so that the business are not only viable but are sustainable. And thirdly, you need to encourage those who are already in business, perhaps in the informal sector, cottage industry and so on, to actually scale their business. And of course, by doing that, you develop the local economy, and that serves in itself as an inducement for others to come invest in the town.
Wow. So how do you gauge whether a town like Oranjemund is actually responding to these economic indicators?
Well, the easy way is to look at the jobs that are being created and the wealth that's being created. That's normally, economists might be a bit more expansive on that, but let's put it just in straight layman's terms. It's looking at the number of jobs and the wealth. So the jobs are easy to measure. If an enterprise had 2 employees, if they're going to grow, they're going to have 3, 4, 5, 10, 50 employees. Wealth creation usually comes in terms of value addition. Are you adding new revenue streams, new product lines? So you can easily measure that by seeing the growth of a firm's turnover, sales. And then also, of course, you measure it in terms of newcomers, who comes into the town, in terms of setting up business. And that's not only selling goods, but actually making products and providing services. So that's very easy to track in the short, in the medium, and in the long term. And in the long term, obviously, you want to take Oranjemund beyond just trading, because it's a mining town. It's going through that transformation. Everything is centered around the mine and the people who've worked for the mine, or the people who worked for the mine in the past and might now have retired and stayed on. So you've got to look beyond that, and that's of course where you can see how responsive the locals are, because they might have run a little accommodation establishment. Are they actually able to scale that up and look at new possibilities, not only expanding the facility by adding more bedrooms and so forth, but value addition services? Are they actually going to things like providing local tours or teaming up with locals and car rental and so on and so forth? And then, of course, accommodation establishments will constantly require services in 2 ways. One on the maintenance side, electrics, plumbing, minor repairs and so on. Are those services available in Oranjemund, or do you have to keep bringing them from outside? And if you can get that right, then of course those service providers, the electricians, plumbers, to put it in simple terms, they can also do business beyond the border of the town. The other way you look at it is those accommodation establishments, and I'm using accommodation establishment because it's people can easily identify with that. They're going to need staff, protective clothing for their staff, uniforms. They're going to need bed linen. They're going to need furniture when they upgrade the room, headboards and so on, and new beds and tables. And are those available locally, or are they imported in town? So there is a ready market. Is a carpenter setting up in town to make some of that furniture? And is there a manufacturer, say somebody who's making clothing, who can actually move into curtaining and bed sheets, bed linen, tablecloths, and so on. And can that person then be helped to even scale further to start providing other lodges and accommodation establishments in the Karas region or even beyond into Namibia? And as I said earlier, Oranjemund is so well located, right on the border with South Africa. Can you now start supplying into the towns in the Northern Cape first, Springbok, and in Port Nolloth and so on? And I have worked on this type of project before. In Roshpina was one area I worked, and we saw how an upholsterer who was just doing very basic upholstery work in town, people's lounges, chairs like this being reupholstered, how you can scale him up actually, and he can start doing repairs on tents, on canvas covers for vehicles, even tennis court, the nets, they have that strip on the top. And so you, instead of that, those sort of upholstery jobs going to South Africa, to Springbok or down to Cape Town, you actually satisfy the local need, and you entice customers from across the border to actually start using your service. So it's, if you structure it, you can actually grow the town's local economy, but you need buy-in, Erica. That's the important thing. You need buy-in from the local authority. You need buy-in from the regional governance structure, the regional Karas region. You need buy-in from national government. You need to get the government of the country, Namibia, to also understand the importance of putting some incentives, some inducement in place that encourages entrepreneurship and facilitates the development of an enterprise culture. Because remember, you're dealing with people who've lived in a closed environment. They've been spoiled to an extent. And now you're saying to them, be part of Namibia. You know the town, you know the environment. Some of you have started little businesses. The mine's closing down, but that's okay. The mine actually leaves us with a lovely infrastructure in terms of water reticulation, buildings, roads, and so on. Let's now take that and actually develop this into a sustainable local economy that actually is going to produce and deliver not only for the people, but contribute to the country's wealth and become part of our export drive, so that Namibia can actually start generating more export earnings. At the moment, we don't. The country is very much a consumer. We're not actually generating that income from value addition. We're generating from minerals and exporting products in its primary form.
In your opinion, is there scope for investors and business growth within Oranjemund?
Oranjemund has a lot to offer, and we don't really have the time to get into detail, so I'm just going to touch on a few of the USPs, the unique selling points or proposition that Oranjemund has to offer. Firstly, its location. You can't really find a better location if you want to service the domestic market as well as the export market. So you can get a good blend there of local business and outside of the country. It's right on the Orange River. It's close to Cape Town Metropole, and between the border and Cape Town there are several larger towns in the Northern Cape as well as the Western Cape. So ample opportunities to take your business outside and build up a customer base outside the country. Particularly if you compare it to any of the other larger urban areas, Windhoek South, even Keetmanshoop is still some considerable distance away from the border, the Luderitzes, Marienthal and Riebeek. The second thing is the infrastructure. An investor will just drool when they see what's available in that town in terms of buildings. The mines put up good structures. They're all well energized, so it's three-phase electricity and so on. So a lot of those buildings, of course, are now standing vacant because mining has moved offshore. And so there's already a very good infrastructure there in terms of property, the services that the town has to offer, even accommodation, the support services such as medical education, perfect to entice an investor coming there, because investors know the employees will be looking for that. The third thing is that Oranjemund is part of Namibia, which is part of Southern African Customs Union, SACU, as well as the CMA. And that already means that bureaucracy, red tape, exchange control, money movement, movement of goods and services is unhindered of all the paperwork and the bureaucracy that you go through. The only thing that needs to still be worked on would be people movement, and I understand that on a bilateral basis the government are looking at that, because that would still frustrate investors when they have to go through rigmarole with work permits and so on. Not only for long-term employees and management, but even just coming up to provide a service. Let's say IT experts and so on need to come up for a short while. That is frustration one hears from the companies. Many other advantages as well, availability of water, as I say, the availability of the infrastructure, the good infrastructure there helps with transportation. There's a lovely new road, tarred all the way from Oranjemund that comes right up to Windhoek. That section, which was gravel or dust road, it's a lovely road. So government actually has had the foresight to invest in the infrastructure, and it now beholds the private sector of Namibia to take or to seize the advantages that exist of actually moving your business into Oranjemund. Those who are already in business in town, or those who harbor a desire, they want to be entrepreneurs, better not snooze, they better move quickly. And of course, when it comes to attracting foreign investment in the town is well placed as well. So really, Oranjemund has so much going for it. A lot of work has gone in, and OMDis, I think, is the vehicle that was the missing, shall we say, the missing part in that jigsaw to get things moving. And I'm delighted that the mine and the stakeholders actually decided to go this route, because this then becomes the one-stop shop to actually get that town to have not only a viable local economy, but a sustainable one, and that it makes a major contribution to the economy of Namibia in the years to come.
Danny, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Erica, entrepreneurs create wealth and jobs. Government facilitates, and when I say government, it's not only central government, the regional government, governance structure, as well as the municipality of a town. So entrepreneurship creates wealth and jobs, and that's what's going to make the local economy grow, and that is what's going to make Namibia achieve its vision 2030 and industrialization and so on. So this excellent rapport that now exists between the stakeholders is not only going to carry Oranjemund forward, but it's going to set an example for the country that if there is this roles and responsibility clearly understood, that the various stakeholders have their roles and responsibilities, should not be hampering but rather facilitating, as has happened here with Oranjemund and is happening. I think the future for Namibia is bright, and this economy, this country's economy, is going to become the star performer that we all wish to see.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Ban Ki-moon. I am Secretary General of the United Nations. I was born in Korea. I was 6 years old when the Korean War started. We had to run from our homes to the mountainside. We could see my village burning. The United Nations saved my family and my country. In my time as a Secretary General, I have been moved by the horrors of humanity, and I have been inspired by his heroes. I have wept at the memorials for victims in Auschwitz, Srebrenica, and Rwanda. I have dealt with tragedies that have gone on for decades and disasters that destroyed whole societies overnight. I have also mourned too many courageous United Nations staff members who died serving the cause of peace. I believe in having a young mindset. This means standing up to injustice. I hope I will never be too old to ask leaders tough questions. I hope I will always have the energy to speak out for what is right. I think that keeps us young.
I still remember it all. Your eyes, your walk, your love, the way you talk. Something about you, how you spoke to me. Daring, inviting, irresistible. But nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. They think I'm a fool for seeing what I see. That's what you are. My number one obsession, my lucky star. They say you don't deserve me, but they don't know the truth. They say you will neglect me when I'm bad at all rules. There's only one position, and it points to your direction. Baby, you're perfection, my number one protection. I don't wanna let you go. Na na na, jana popye. Fireman, my baby. You got the juice, you got the sauce. You are the juice, you are the sauce.